The most dangerous career decisions don't feel like decisions. They feel like relief. You take the job because it's stable, because it pays, because something about the certainty of it calms the noise in your head that's been asking what you're doing with your life. And for a while, 6 months, a year, sometimes longer, that calm feels like you made the right call. But there's a specific category of jobs that don't fail you dramatically. They fail you slowly. They take your most important years and return them without the compound growth you didn't know you were supposed to be building. And by the time you realize what happened, you're several years in, deeply specialized in something that doesn't transfer, and more afraid to leave than you were afraid to stay. Welcome to the creator's mind. Richter doesn't come here to scare you. He comes here to show you the things that are already happening. Subscribe if you're not already here. What follows matters. Here's what makes these jobs so effective at trapping people. They're not bad environments. The people are often fine. The structure is clear. The expectations are manageable. And that manageability is the mechanism. Because when a job is just hard enough to require your full attention, but not hard enough to force you to grow, it occupies you completely while developing you almost not at all. You're not miserable enough to leave. You're not fulfilled enough to stay by choice. You're just there. These are the patterns, not job titles, patterns. Because the trap isn't always the industry, it's the specific dynamic that plays out inside it. The first pattern, the job where the ceiling is invisible until you hit it. You take a role that has clear progression in the first 2 years, then something shifts, the promotions slow, the conversations about growth become circular. You're good at what you do, good enough that they need you exactly where you are. And here's the hidden cost. The skills you're deepening are the skills required to stay at that level, not the ones required to go beyond it. You get better and better at something that's increasingly irrelevant to where you actually want to go. The ceiling was there from the beginning. You just couldn't see it because the early momentum looked like trajectory. The second pattern, the job that pays well enough to make leaving feel irresponsible. This one is precise in how it operates. The salary isn't extraordinary. It's just high enough that leaving feels like a sacrifice you're not sure you can justify, so you stay. And staying becomes a habit, and the habit calcifies into an identity. You become someone who has this job, and every year that passes makes the identity heavier and the alternative more abstract. The money isn't the problem. The way the money reframes every option as a loss is the problem. The third pattern, the job with a prestigious name that does nothing for your actual skill set. The brand matters at the door, it gets you into rooms, but 2 years in you realize that what you've been doing inside that prestigious environment is narrower and less transferable than you assumed. The name on the resume is doing work that your actual capabilities cannot support independently. And when the name is no longer the differentiator, when you're evaluated on what you can actually do, the gap becomes visible to everyone at the same time. The fourth pattern, the job that rewards compliance over capability. This one is the most invisible because it feels like success. You're liked, you're trusted, you get good feedback because you follow the process, defer in the right moments, and don't create friction. But what's being rewarded is your willingness to subordinate your judgment, not the quality of your judgment itself. Over time, you learn to stop exercising it, and a professional who has stopped exercising independent judgment is not a professional who's growing, they're a professional who's becoming dependent. The creator's mind has said this before in different ways. The environment you normalize becomes the limit of what you can imagine for yourself. A job that rewards the wrong things doesn't just shape your resume, it shapes your self-concept. The fifth pattern, the job promises future reward for present sacrifice. We're building something here. The next round of funding will change everything. Just get through this year and we'll take care of you. Some of these promises are genuine, many are not. And the ones that aren't don't fail you dishonestly. They fail you through delay. They keep moving the milestone, and you keep adjusting your timeline. And somewhere in the adjustments, the years that were supposed to be your most formative professionally become years spent waiting for a payoff that never arrives. The sixth pattern, the job where your most important relationships are with people who have already accepted their ceiling. Your environment shapes your ambition more than your ambition shapes your environment. when you're surrounded by people who have quietly made peace with stagnation, not unhappy, just settled. Their settled quality becomes the gravitational pull of the room. You start to think that what they have is what the finish line looks like. You stop questioning whether the line is in the right place. You adopt to the pace of the room, and the room is not moving. The seventh pattern, the job that has absorbed your identity. You don't have a job anymore. You are the job. Your entire sense of competence, value, and social belonging comes from the role, and that completeness is its own trap, because leaving would require dismantling who you've become, not just changing what you do. So you don't leave, even when you want to, even when you know you should, because the alternative isn't just a different job, it's a temporary state of not knowing who you are, and that's the one cost most people are unwilling to pay. Safety is not the same as security. A job can feel completely safe and be eroding your future at the same time. The question to ask is not whether the job is stable. The question is whether it's moving you in skill, in self-concept, in the direction of whoever you're trying to become. If the answer is no, the stability is not protecting you. It's just making the cost of standing still invisible. Press like if this named something you've been circling around. Subscribe to The Creator's Mind. The next video is already there when you're ready. Richter will be waiting.